research that Ed tends his collection of mystic idols. Each comes with its own story and each its own intent. It is only through a diversity of religious blessings and cleansing ceremonies that their power is kept at bay. Ed's knowledge of paranormal science is vast, and his expertise vital to the cases in which he and Lorraine have been involved.
You have to be extremely careful in how you treat these things. Circular ambism, certain prayers, you don't go picking them up, you don't have your aura mingle with the aura of these things unless it's positively necessary, and even I don't. And there are many what we call death dolls here. The doll you see here was made through black magic rituals. It's called a doll of shadows. Now, why is it called a doll of shadows? We'll take a look at it. It has human bones here and there and animal parts all over the body. You notice the nails in here and the tooth sticking out. Well, these are all feathers from crows and whatever. But this, I can tell through psychometry and through how it was made, that it was made with evil purposes. Now, the purpose is this, that they take a picture of this doll, they send it to you, and they put the curse on the back. You take it and you look at it and you laugh at it, but it's not a laughing matter. Because once you see the image of the doll, it can be projected telepathically to you in your dream state. Dolls like this have actually come into nightmares. These images of these dolls can be so frightening that they've actually stopped people's hearts during the dream state. A couple bought the doll from an antique dealer who practically gave it to them. They were doll collectors. And first night, both of them had scratch marks all over their body, and they had a horrible nightmare, the same nightmare, which is unnatural. The following night, it was not only scratch marks, it was claw marks, and very frightening. And they knew of us. They called me up. I went out there, and they said, "Take this doll, please. Take it." You see, you must be very careful with a doll like this. You do never destroy it. If you destroy it, you could have things occur to you that would be horrible. Because the spirits that are within the doll then are freed. And where do they go? To the one that destroyed their home. And this is their home right here. It's made with evil intent. You see a picture of a bride and a groom. The bride was killed less than 3 weeks after she was married. It seems that the curse was put on her by a rival of this young man who he had been engaged to earlier. Now, the girl was not able to perform such a feat. She had somebody do it for her. The girl was killed in an automobile accident. Now, she's riding along, and her husband's driving the car, and suddenly they see an image appear in front of the car. There's nothing there, really. He swerves the car, hits into a tree, and she is killed. Now, there was nothing there. But that's caused through telepathic hypnosis. The image of something in the road was projected to this man through crystalmancy. The windshield was used as the screen for this. He thought he actually seen something out in the road and swerved to miss it. There was nothing there. And that's how a curse like this works.
And how do you come across this case?
They brought the young man brought it to me, asked if there was anything I could do to help his former wife in the spirit world, that he knew it was unnatural, which we did. And that's how we come by these things. Okay, what we're talking about here are African fertility dolls. And these were stolen from a witch doctor in Africa. The man who stole them had a relative here in Bridgeport, Connecticut, a police officer. He sent them to this police officer in the hopes that he would sell them to a museum, and they would split the money. Unfortunately, he died very horribly. You don't steal things from witch doctors. The police officer who received these became paralyzed 2 weeks after he got them, and 2 years later he and his wife were dead. We got involved with the police officer too late. Everything was already too far gone. So you don't steal things from witch doctors. Mm-hmm. You see a little peg here, right here? Well, that little peg is taken out. Now, it can be used for good or evil. When the peg is taken out and they want to curse you, they whisper your name and then they put the peg back in again. And black magic is very real. A lot of people joke about these things, but these are nothing to joke about. And I keep away from this type of magic as much as possible. You notice there are quite a lot of webs up here. That's because I don't go too near these dolls, ever. They are there from the day I put them in there, which was probably about 12 years ago. And there are many what we call death dolls here. Imagery dolls, for instance, up there we have a New England witch doll and we have a voodoo doll. The New England witch doll comes from the European type black magic, which is Moriah, the other one Congolese. Both of them are over 100 years old. And they were owned by, again, another doll collector, a woman up in Essex, Connecticut, very wealthy lady. And she bought these in Florida. And she brought them back here. She put them into a case in her rest home. And things started happening in the rest home. And she'd find these dolls all over the place. In other words, teleportation would take place. And they'd disappear in one place and appear in another place. Then she started having all kinds of bad luck at home. And then she found them in drawers at her house. And the convalescent home would be 20 miles away. So the European doll there, which is hanging by its neck, is Moriah, European magic, and it's hung in this fashion. A piece of pork is wrapped around it, and diabolical incantations are said over it. And as the pork deteriorates, the intended victim deteriorates and dies. It's usually hung in a tree near the victim's bedroom. It has the victim's clothing, and the wood is carved from something very personal of the victim, sort of like a chair or something that they used in life. But the other one is Congolese, and that is, or has human hair at the head of the victim. It has clothing from the victim, and it has the fingernail clippings in the feet. And black magic rituals are said over it through Congolese voodoo.